Welcome to Upside TV. I am your host, Greg Oakford. I'm the head of ecosystem and partnerships here at Upside. I'm sitting here with my good friend Bernie, co-founder of Stables. Bernie, we're about to kick off a big event here at Upside called the Summer Sunset, which is powered by Stables tonight. But first, I wanted to have a quick chat to you. You jumped on board with Upside last year quite early. We've been hearing a lot about Stables over the journey, so we just wanted to have a little bit of a chat to you today. So first of all, just tell the audience, what the hell is Stables?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, great to be here, Greg. Thank you for being such a valued partner and for the support along the way. Stable is a one-stop digital wallet that allows people to spend, send, and earn stablecoin all in one balance. We started the company back in 2020 when we saw the opportunity to bring crypto to the mainstream. At the time, we believed that stablecoin would have been one of the biggest catalysts of the current cycle and the next cycles to come in terms of like actual driving utility to crypto. Thanks to our background and the value of the things that we've done in the past, we were able to spin up a beautiful user experience that allows people to utilize stablecoin in the everyday life.
And for those, granted that we've got probably a bit of a diverse audience here, some crypto natives, some that are just getting introduced to crypto for the first time. We've seen Bitcoin hit AUD all-time highs just last night. So for those that are a little bit unaware, what is a stablecoin?
Yes, absolutely. So a stablecoin is just the representation of a digital dollar, or not necessarily a dollar. Now there's also like things that might not be dollar related, but just a representation of value on chain. So think about it as a unit of unit of currency that could be freely exchanged digitally. So it could be the money for the internet, effectively.
Absolutely. Historically, and for those that haven't used crypto products before, they may not know of this fact, but the user experience or the UX of crypto products has been historically poor. Now, we shouldn't drag crypto through the mud completely, knowing that the evolution of Web 1 and even Web 2, particularly Web 1, had pretty poor UX initially as well. I've used Stables. I used it at the Australian Open at the tennis this year to buy a few Canadian clubs. So shout out to Canadian Club if you'd like to hop on board Upside. But tell us, it does seem like Stables has been able to nail the UX, something that many other crypto startups have struggled with. So can you talk us through sort of the product design of your app?
Yeah, absolutely. I think before we do that, the importance of why stablecoin needs a good user experience is because they make more than 60% of the entire trading volume in crypto. So people know crypto for being highly volatile, instrument. However, all the trading happens against a stable pair, being a stable coin. So we focus on building great user experience for the stablecoin user, allowing them effectively to go and enter the space and go do whatever that they want to do with those stable coins, whether it's they want to preserve purchasing power against inflation. One of the reasons Aussie hit all-time high in Australian dollar terms, but not USD, is because the Australian dollar has been depreciating. So people could access stablecoin just to retain purchasing power. However, they could also use it to go max long and go do degen stuff in this crypto realm. And also, it would be great to send money internationally. It's a great instrument. It's fast, it's cheap, it's secure, and it's completely transparent. So in terms of user experience, what we've done, we build an app that allows normies or people that never interact with crypto to interact with it without necessarily knowing they're interacting with crypto. One of the main problems when it comes to playing in the space and utilizing these products is usually there's high learning, it's a high barrier to entry. So, as a user, you need to understand what is a wallet, what is the private keys, what happens when, you sending money to somebody, you can't get back, how are you going to store your keys? There's a whole plethora of things that you should know if you want to transact safely, that effectively potentially is what is hindering adoption. You talk about Web 1 being terrible user experience. I think, call it the first or second cycle, it's almost like the moment of Web 1 of crypto. Things got better over time. For those that were around in 2017, there was a thing called Ether Delta, the first DEX. It was absolutely unusable. And then look at where we are today with Uniswap. So definitely people are putting a lot more thought and importance on building good user experiences and giving people the value without the complexity. And this is basically the same design principle that we're using at Stables. We don't want people to think about managing their keys. We don't want people to think about wallet addresses, and we don't want people to just like be daunted by the difficulties of utilizing the technology. We just want people to utilize the technology and derive value from it.
So it sounds like simplification is the goal and is the key. If someone wants to open a Stables wallet, what do they need to do? What does that process look like?
Yeah, so I mean, with Stables, it's pretty straightforward. So we're bringing a Web 2 sign-up experience to Web 3. So if Greg wants to sign up to Stable, he downloads the app from the App Store. You just like use phone number, email, KYC himself, and then the moment you KYC, you get a card, and then you can top up your account with either stablecoins, fiat, and then like you'll be able to go and like effectively spend your magic internet money in a fraction of a second. So you could potentially, by the time you're downstairs, the time you come upstairs, you verified, you could just start spending immediately.
Now, Stables is already international. Obviously, your home base is here in Australia. You've got a presence in Sydney. You've got your presence here at Upside in Melbourne. But you are growing quite strongly and quickly internationally. Talk us through some of the key markets for you at the moment and maybe what a couple of key markets are in 2024 and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you said, we started here in Australia. It's almost like, we've done this before in terms of like Australia is a great place to start, fintech companies. It's a great sandbox for innovation. If things work here in Australia, we have a reputable bar of regulation. So if you can work within the regiment, then we can export easily overseas. And so that's what we've done. In the past, couple of years, we established ourselves here in Australia. We built a good business with, like solid following, and then now we're at the stage where we want to go and replicate the business elsewhere. So we recently launched our disbursement feature out in the Philippines. We at Stable really believe stablecoins should be used for functional use cases, and remittance is definitely one of those. So people anywhere in the world now, if they have USDC, they can remit back into the Philippines, whether it's like to their family members, to themselves, to their friends. Like this is live now in 130 countries. We're definitely like now looking at expanding and bringing the Philippine feature parity with Australia, so the ability to spend, the ability to on-ramp, and ability to off-ramp. But also like another key market for us coming up in the next 6 months is going to be Europe. So we have exported effectively what we've done here in Australia and Europe, and there will be some very exciting news coming out of Europe, hopefully very soon.
Love it. Can't wait to hear about it. Let's talk GameFi. You mentioned the Philippines before. I believe recently you've had an announcement around Ronin as well. So you want to just talk us through that?
Yes,
and also just sort of Stable's outlook on Web3 gaming in general.
Yes, absolutely. So we went to the Philippines at the end of November last year to go and see, firsthand what's happening in the space. And it was absolutely fascinating. I was like blown away by the level of enthusiasm and the way the participation of the people in Web3, like everyday people in Web3. And so what's happening there, it's actually super fascinating. So we're seeing back in like late 2020 with Axie, Infinity, which was this like, on-chain game, play-to-earn game, whereby people were breeding all these weird animal and they were then, like creating a living for their own family. So people were actually playing and they were earning money and they put food on the table that way. However, the problem back then, like following our discussion with like, people from YGG, Breeder DAO, Axie as well, was like how this player then can convert this digital token into real things. Back in the days, if you were playing Axie, you were earning this token called SLP, small love potion. For a period of time, this small love potion, it became almost legal tender in the Philippines. People would accept it to buy cars, people would accept it to buy food, until it tanked, and then it almost become like, people wouldn't accept it anymore. So the stablecoin element when it comes to GameFi is very interesting. Because that gives both the player and the game developer the ability and the capability of offering their players and community members a way to convert this magical internet money into actually like real money. You can do things with it. So we had great success and great conversation with a bunch of people like the folks at YGG that we're going to be starting working very closely with, the Breeder DAO folks as well. And they all basically have like, a guild of games or their own specific games where they have hundreds of thousands of people. They're there on the platform playing these games, but they need somebody to help them convert this money into the real world, and we're going to be that person.
Love it. Last question for you, Bernie, and probably the most important. I'm obviously repping this Stables tee. It's high quality, it's thick, but where do you get your merch from? Are you going to drop that? Are you going to drop that alpha, or
we're going to be probably opening up a store? I think. As much as I like to say I'm not a fashion victim, I think like one of my secret dream is to become a fashion designer. So yeah, probably I reckon we have some mad drops that we're working on, and hopefully opening up a store soon, stable store.
Well, you heard it first. Get your Stables account, get your merch. Bernie, thanks so much for the combo. We're about to probably party it up a little bit at this event. Yes. So thank you for the chat, and we'll see you again soon.
Lovely to be here. Thank you, man.